Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here tonight as we're talking about WWE's State of the Union address that was held live on WWE Monday Night Raw, right after the big showdown between Team SmackDown and Team Raw. Basically, the big throwdown that happened inside of the ring. Of course, this all ended with the Shield double power bomb, picking up AJ Styles and chucking him out for the SmackDown team to catch him from landing on his fall. This was being built up as both commissioners and both GMs were going to be there, sort of having a verbal debate. I will honestly tell you that right off the bat, I honestly was thinking more was going to happen from this State of the Union address than what happened. I was thinking that maybe we were going to see some sort of trades or maybe some sort of announcements, maybe some free agents or moving brands. You don't normally get to see, the commissioners or the GMs in the same place at the same time. And maybe every once in a while on a co-branded pay-per-view, like the Survivor Series, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam. Maybe they'll be in the same building at the same time, but any other time except for that, it's a very rare occurrence that you're going to get them. And I think that honestly, they built up the Survivor Series matches, but this was more about Stephanie versus Shane, Mick Foley versus Daniel Bryan more than anything else. This honestly felt like we were sitting at the McMahon Thanksgiving table and Stephanie and Shane were fighting back and forth over who is better than the other one. Honestly, in my mind, Stephanie seems like she's always trying to put Shane down, trying to put herself over. Shane, for the most part, will put up a little bit of a fight, but he almost lets everyone know that he understands that everybody can see through what Stephanie is, and she just let her have her moment and let her do what it is. He doesn't really come back unless she really hits him with really something good. When the State of the Union address started, everyone was busy. Renee Young came on the show. She came on live. I'm not sure if it was planned or if maybe it was put together at the last moment. It actually started with her interviewing Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman talking about the Survivor Series and the Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg match that's going to be taking place. Basically saying that the State of the Union of the WWE is healthy because Brock Lesnar is there to support it. Brock Lesnar is looking for one hell of a fight. And Survivor Series is going to be no different than anything else. Honestly, in my mind, especially with the State of the Union address, I know I've hit this fact a couple of times. I really believe that if this would have had anything to do with Goldberg being a branded SmackDown competitor and this match being SmackDown versus Raw as well, this really could have been hit home here. But they just sort of built up the point of what Daniel Bryan slammed home when he was talking about Raw, featuring these part-time wrestlers that are taking over the show. In my mind, I haven't given SmackDown its best attention that it's been needed, but I think it's been said from enough people for me to really, think about this and it be true. I think SmackDown is the better wrestling show. And from listening to Cheap Heat this last week, it got really put into perspective the best way possible. SmackDown is almost run like it's a 1980s wrestling show. The wrestling shows that I grew up on, there's good guys, there's bad guys, there's storylines, and there's wrestling. There's a little bbit for everybody. Monday Night Raw, to me, I still use the crutch of it being a 3-hour show, and that's just what it's just too much for me. I'm sure that if I would have been sitting in Buffalo with Justin or Ravi, I would have been having the time of my life. I would have been yelling Goldberg, Goldberg, and I would have thought that it was the best night I've ever had in my whole life. But for me to come home and here it is, it's 10 o'clock now. But I got home at 9:30. I just got done. I came home and I immediately watched the State of the Union address. I could go out in the living room, turn on the cable box, watch Monday Night Raw and USA. But even if I just turned on the show right now, why would I want to watch that show for 3 hours? I mean, I don't have that kind of time. I don't want to stay up till 1 in the morning to watch wrestling. Maybe if I watched an older one and I got to watch it here on the WWE Network or something like that here in my bedroom, but I don't know, man. It's just not for me. There wasn't anything really big on this show. They went back and forth. Who's better? They've done this, they've done that. Honestly, the biggest things that they hit on is that Daniel Bryan and Shane were able to say that think of the wrestlers that are on the SmackDown roster, how they were before the brand split, and how they're looked at now. They brought up Miz. Miz is having a career year. They used him as an example because Mick Foley tried to sort of use it against Shane and Daniel Bryan that he wasn't being used on the Survivor Series pay-per-view, and he's having a career year, blowing out of the park. He was Intercontinental Champion for not a record length, but for a good run, especially in today's era of championships changing every 2 to 3 months. He held the belt for hundreds of days, and it was one hell of a feat before he lost it to Dolph Ziggler in a very memorable match that, in WWE's eyes, is probably going to be in the top 10 matches of 2016 for them. Really good match, really good angle, really good build-up. I didn't buy the retirement angle, but it paid off in the end, and I think it worked. But Miz is looked at as a 10 times better wrestler, and being more valuable to WWE than he was during the Monday Night Raw time, where he kept on being used pay-per-view after pay-per-view on the pre-show. Didn't matter if he was Intercontinental Champion, United States Champion, just a regular feud, pre-show. And he always had lines to back it up where people tried to use it against him, saying that, the pre-show, if you don't have the network, you're going to watch it because it's free, is the most viewed match that's going to happen of the night. And more people are going to watch it than the main event, and that does make sense. But, Daniel Bryan brought up the fact that he talked to Cesaro, he talked to Sami Zayn, he talked to the guys on the roster. A lot of people on Monday Night Raw wish they were on SmackDown to be able to show their talents and be able to be used better than they once were. Mick Foley talked about the fact of Kevin Owens having a really good year for WWE. And one of the reasons why he was such a late draft pick is they used that Mick Foley came to Shane McMahon and talked about what was going on in the locker room and what the feeling was like. And Shane put his hand in his head and basically said, he does not want to deal with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is the one guy that he never wished that he had to deal with. And Kevin Owens was able to slip down in the draft because Mick Foley was able to tell Stephanie, you can do whatever you want, pick whoever you want, but he is not going to take Kevin Owens. And that's why Owens fell as such a late draft pick, and he's been having a career year. Here he is, Wwe Universal Champion, heading into Survivor Series, one of the co-captains of the Team Monday Night Raw team. Finn Balor won the championship at SummerSlam after beating Roman Reigns and then beating Seth Rollins. He was injured in that match, and he's not going to be back on the roster until... some people are looking for December at Roadblock. Some people are saying Royal Rumble. Some people are saying he's not going to be back till Mania. I think if he's coming back to Mania, he's not coming back until the Raw after Mania. Still gives you that WrestleMania weekend moment and creates a big buzz. But I don't think they're going to be running an angle for Finn Balor with him wrestling at WrestleMania, with him not doing any Monday Night Raw or anything building up to that point. But you can check out his Instagram and Twitter and watch his progress. They seem like they keep you up to date. They make him seem like he is a big deal. It's not like he's just gone and we'll see him again in 6 months or whatever, however long that injury was. But I wasn't that impressed with the State of the Union address when I first saw that they were going to be doing it tonight. I look forward to it, honestly, all day, thinking that it was going to be a big deal. No trades, no free agencies, no wrestlers coming on the show, basically asking SmackDown for a job, maybe trying to get a release from Raw. There was a lot of things, honestly, that I think they could have done. Daniel Bryan was able to drop some names, Sami Zayn and Cesaro, both wanting to wrestle for SmackDown. Who knows if there's anybody on SmackDown who wants to be on Raw other than The Miz? I hope they do this again soon. I hope they don't wait until they do SmackDown versus Raw again at another pay-per-view. But I want to see trades. I want to see other things. Maybe interview some wrestlers as it's on there, and build up some things where people have some grievances that they want filed against their GMs and let the other people hear. So that was about it. See you guys down the road. Survivor Series on Sunday. Peace out, everybody.